Hi guys, welcome back. Thanks for taking a few minutes to watch this video on my Rickenbacker. This is actually the model 320 in jet glow. And I know what you're thinking, it's actually been spec'd out to John Lennon specs. So it's actually, technically speaking now with the modifications, it's a model 325. But this particular Rickenbacker left the factory back in 1982. And at that time they weren't doing the John Lennon reissues, and it was before the time that they were even doing the John Lennon limited editions that came out in the late 80s and early 90s. This particular guitar, whoever had it before me really loved it. They basically made this to the specs that John played on the original Ed Sullivan show, I believe February 9th, 1964, that first Ed Sullivan appearance that the Beatles played on. At that point, he'd been using pretty much the same guitar from the year 1960 until 1964 in February there. And then shortly after they played the DC concert, when the Beatles got to Miami and had the second Ed Sullivan show appearance, Rickenbacker gave him another Rickenbacker just like this, but it was had a white pickguard and a white headstock, and it was a little bit more updated. But anyway, so this particular guitar, this was what it looked like when John stopped using it on stage. Since then, it has been taken back to its maple glow original finish. But in the year 1960, he bought this guitar, and the pickups were the same, but it had, I think, a different tremolo on it, and it had, I believe, what they call the stovetop knobs. And basically, John, over the years, he made some modifications to it, but he bought it in the summer of 1960 in Hamburg, I believe, and then over the years he made, like I said, some modifications to it. So this one, of course, has the toaster pickups here that you see. These are, I think, either teacup or Burns knobs that have been updated with the gold pick guard. And then it's got, of course, a Bigsby tremolo that he used, although I don't think he used it a ton on the records because it just would have really got the guitar out of tune and such. Anyway, yeah, I just saw Paul McCartney in concert here in Phoenix, and he actually talked about how Jimi Hendrix would use his tremolo all the time, and he actually called Eric Clapton up on stage to help him tune it one time when he was playing live in London in around 1966 or 67 when he was starting out. So that was kind of cool too. But anyway, so this is it. So it was, it's got the original kind of the vintage Clusion tuners on it too. But it's a really cool guitar, and it's a lot of love went into this one. Again, you got the toaster pickups. I think this is called a bow tie bridge here that you can see, but it's it's a great Rickenbacker, and I actually have one of the reissue silver vintage Tolex cases with it as well, with the blue lining. It's really great, and it's in like new condition too. So anyway, let me just play a little bit for you here. I'm going through my little practice amp, my Vox Pathfinder here, and I'll just play a little bit for you. It's been going out of tune a little bit on me, but hopefully it's still kind of there. But the cool thing too about John is the way he played rhythm. Really kind of, it was the glue, especially in those early Beatle tunes. It was just amazing the way he could play rhythm guitar in a very choppy kind of way, and then George would put his very beautiful melodic melodies and, of course, solo just phenomenally over what he was doing, and then Paul kept it together with the bass. But I'd like to just play a little bit of All My Lovin' in kind of the first position rather than kind of going up the neck like John did. But the other thing of note with this guitar too is that it's a 3/4 scale neck. So and John loved that because he could basically do chords and different progressions and things and not have to hurt his hand as much because it was a shorter neck, so there was less space between the frets. So he loved it, and being a rhythm player, I guess he didn't feel that he needed that long neck, and he just needed to be able to play chords and kind of keep everything together. But he did everything so choppy, and it was beautiful. I mean, like, so I mean, he would, like on All My Lovin', I mean, it went a little bit like this, but it was like. I'm not doing it justice, but you kind of get the idea. It's just that very nice, sharp, I mean, 60s sound that the Rickenbacker could give you, with that toaster. the toaster pickups and such. But sorry, I was a little bit out of tune there. I think I need to practice a little bit, just like I did on the Ovation video I did recently. But this is it. So this is, again, the 1982 Rickenbacker 320 that's been Lennonized to the 325 specs that he played on the Ed Sullivan show, the very first one on February the 9th, 1964. But it's a wonderful guitar. If you're interested in it, certainly contact me. I'll probably have some pictures out there of it. Not that I really want to sell it anytime soon, but you know, it's pretty cool. So thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Thank you.